Hello, YouTube land. It's Cheese Rocker again. This is another edition of Cheese Rocker Garage. All right, so today we've got a little comparison video here of some Japanese luxury sedans. First one is my 2005 TL Acura. That car has about 100,000 miles, a little over 100,000 miles. Second one is the 2009 Nissan Maxima SV Premium. Very nice car. That car has 155,000 miles on it. Now, you may be wondering, why am I reviewing or comparing an Acura to a Nissan? Really, it should be an Acura to Infiniti. Well, I don't have an Infiniti, so we're going to go with what we've got. So, but I do think they do stack up pretty closely. I mean, they're certainly in the same category of vehicles, especially Japanese-wise. Okay, so here's the driver impression of the 2005 Acura TL. Okay, so first thing we get in here, it's got some nice burl wood accents and things of that nature. Comfortable seating position. Gauges are very clear and easily read. At the time they kind of bagged on all the buttons on this thing in the automotive press, which is kind of silly because the amount of tech and stuff on these cars now is just, the whole thing, the iDrive thing on BMW. So this is actually quite easy to use. All the switches and everything nice and easy. There's no blind spots in the car. So yeah, let's go tool around the corner here. So we're gonna get out in the parking lot. There we go. Now, I will say, and we'll figure that out when we get into the Maxima a little bit. This car, the way it drives, is not as torquey and off the line as the Maxima. It's a little bit more smooth initially in the lower RPM range. I'm going to make a left here. Both of these cars, were really trying to go after a segment that had been traditionally dominated by German cars. And then, Acura was the first Japanese upscale luxury brand to come onto the scene in 1986. And at the time, people were kind of like poo-pooing it. Lexus came along shortly thereafter, and Lexus has done a fantastic job of, building high-quality vehicles, but also building a brand. And that's really, really important when you get into higher-end luxury cars. People, why is a Benz a Benz? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but they've also created that mystique of driving a Mercedes-Benz, right? And for good reason. Those are very nice cars. So I think Acura has tried to do that over the years with some success, not a whole lot of success. I mean, to be quite honest, I think that they do build a very high quality vehicle. And I think I stand by this all day. It's a bang for a buck car. I don't think you can do much better than an Acura. A lot of people, which is kind of fascinating to me, like when I tell people I drive an Acura, they're like, oh, okay. They don't know that it's a Honda product, which I don't really understand that. But, on the Honda is Honda, of course. There's Honda's built a reputation of reliability and longevity and all the things that they do. Their drivetrains are very good. There's a reason why they've been tremendously successful in motorsports and Indy and F1 and all that. That's a whole nother level of engineering prowess. So, I do really enjoy Honda products. I own 3 of them. I mean, to be fair to my viewers out there. But, so anyways, yeah, do I like the TL? Of course. Would I go out and buy another TL? Yeah. I love this generation of TLs, however, the 04 to 08 generation. I do not care for the generation after this. I just thought it kind of got bulbous, and the front quarter panels look kind of silly, and I think they lost their way a little bit styling wise. That's my opinion. I just think this car, sometimes cars come together, and this is one of these cars that just everything fell into place with the car. It just handles well, does everything well. It's not the fastest thing on the planet, but it gets up in boogies if it needs to. In fact, we'll take a little jaunt here around the corner and see what it does. They did make 6-speed manuals of these cars, which are really hard to find. I've still yet to drive one of those. I know they're out there, and that car, I bet, is a real thrill to drive. And these, this has their version of Tiptronic, so does the Maxima. We're going to go around the corner here and give it a little acceleration here. It does have the front. There we go. I mean, it gets up and goes. I mean, we're at 80 miles an hour there. I mean, that's pretty, and I'm going uphill. So it gets it done. It does have the traditional front wheel drive, I don't know, whatever, understeer or whatever that funny thing, which I can't stand, but what are you going to do? I wish, Honda only made one vehicle in recent memory with a rear-wheel drive, which is the S2000, which I absolutely love that vehicle. However, I'm too big to get in the thing. So I do like my Acura, to be quite honest. So let's go back to the Maxima here. We'll go do a little driver impression of that vehicle and see what that's all about. All right, so here we are with the Maxima. So what are our first impressions? Seating surface is certainly more luxurious. Leather is a little bit more upgraded. The arm surfaces are more padded. This car also has paddle shifters, which, if you're into that, I guess that's a cool thing. The overall interior on this car is definitely more upscale, I would say, than the TL. I mean, in fair honesty. Visibility is very good. There's no blind spots in this car. They both have sunroofs. I don't have any problem with. I'm a pretty big guy. I'm not hitting my head, so that's always a good thing. Automatic, obviously. So let's take it for a spin. Putting in drive. Here we go. So yeah, first things I noticed right off the bat, the car is definitely a little bit quicker off the line, if that's appropriate. I mean, it's not really a drag race, but it has a little bit more torque available in the power band, especially right off the bat here. Making it right. So this car has a lot of other features that the TL does not. They both have cruise control and all that kind of stuff. My car has satellite. This has also satellite radio. This has ventilated seats, which I've never had a car that's had that before. It's kind of cool. And living in the desert, I could see where that could be a nice feature to have. Two things I don't really like in the drivability of this car is I think the braking is a little bit better in the TL, not by much, but it is a little bit better. The TL, seems to be a bit more responsive in handling, but not by much. I mean, I think they're pretty comparable that way. I'm not a big paddle shifter guy. I think they're kind of silly, but I mean, some people enjoy them, and that's cool. This also has the same thing, the TL, where you can take the gear shift and kind of bang gears on it if you wanted to. I don't know if that's really what you do with this vehicle, but I guess some people like to do that. This does have the dual sunroof thing, which I do think is cool. I really think that's cool. So you get the sunroof for the people in the back as well as the front. I do think that's a nice feature. Um, they really thought this car out well. I will say for Nissan, they really spent a lot of research and you know, a lot of development into the vehicle to really kind of bring it back to where it should have been originally. Because Maximas were really cool when they first came out, and they were, you know, for what they were pretty sporty. And then they kind of got dodgy and old manny, and then so they kind of really tried to perk the brand up. It's a shame they've run it into the ground because Maxima's, you know, been around for a long time. It just, you know, I think the whole merger with Renault and Carlos Ghostin's nuttiness and all that, I mean, it just sent them down a road that's been really hard for them to recover from. There's, you know, there still are, but, you know, automotive business is incredibly competitive. So, you know, it just takes a couple missteps to put you out, you know, down the pasture. So, okay, we're going to make a right here and we'll see what this thing does. We'll give it a little gas here up the road and see what that's all about. So 290 horsepower here. Let's see, front wheel drive. Yeah, we're hitting 75, 80 here, and that still had, we were at 4,500 RPM, so that's definitely got the boogie here. Handling wise, I think they're very, very similar. Front wheel drive cars. You know, I'm a rear wheel drive manual guy, but that's okay too. These can live in harmony as well. There's plenty of room for everything here. Um, I will say that the amount of options and the interior integrity and that kind of stuff is definitely much better in this Maxima. There's no question about that. And I've said that before, and in quite honesty, I think, you know, Nissan does a pretty good interior, like those M35s and M45s that they had. I thought the interior on those things was really nice and very high end for that type of vehicle. Um, so I think I give the nudge to Nissan in that regard for sure. The V6s, I think, are pretty comparable. I mean, yeah, this one's a little bit more powerful. As far as longevity, I think you're pretty close to being the same, you know, as long as the car was maintained. Transmission-wise, now in this situation, this car has had the transmission flushed through its entire 155,000 miles, so I don't really see a problem with that. But if you don't do that and you don't keep up with that and you just drive it and don't care about it, I mean, is the thing going to take a poop? Yeah, probably. But I think that's kind of true with any vehicle, I mean, in fairness. But, you know, CVTs, you know, do have a reputation for a reason, right? And like I indicated earlier, I think this generation, they seem to have kind of figured all of that out a little bit. The air conditioning in this car is very good. Both of the air conditionings are good. I'm not really digging the concave hood on this car. I think that's a little, it's like a duck bill or something. That's a little weird to me. But, you know, they didn't consult me prior to building the vehicle. But again, you know, at a $5,000 or $6,000 car in today's world, I think you're getting a tremendous vehicle for that kind of money. I mean, like Honda Civics, you know, a Honda Civic with 150,000 miles is selling for $5,000 or $6,000, and this car is 50 times what a Honda Civic is. So, you know, if I was a potential buyer in that price range, absolutely would I be looking at these. Absolutely. I mean, you just so much you get with these cars. It's insane. I mean, the amount of luxurious features and everything that comes with it, and the drivetrain, and we haven't even gotten into the safety part of it. These cars have multiple side curtain airbags, and you know, it's just like, again, this was a flagship vehicle for Nissan. You know, it's a $40,000 car, so they kind of put a lot of time, money, and effort into this. Okay, so let's do a conclusion video, and then we'll be all done. All right, thank you so much for watching my little comparison on the 2005 TL and the 2009 Maxima. Both cars are really nice. At this price point in today's market, at 5 or 6 grand, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, these are fantastic vehicles, very reliable. You can't go wrong. A lot of bang for the buck here. And for the most part, they're very reliable. So hopefully this helped you a little bit. We'll see what happens on the flip side, my friends. Keep rocking.